welcome to another episode of Galaxy View. I'm your host, Mark Bridge, and I'm here with Zak Wojnar.
That's me.
Was your birthday a couple of days ago, wasn't it?
Yep, the 14th.
How was it?
It was all right. Had some fun. Went out. Had my kids come over, play video games until our eyes fell out.
Uh,
Uh, then I went to a fancy party
right.
for magazine release and got to hang out with Jenny McCarthy. That was nice.
Oh, really?
She's lovely.
It better be worth it for missing the podcast. No, just
Oh, it was
kidding.
definitely worth it.
um, I was thinking I'm gonna be saying a lot of things at the end of the episode. You know, we're on YouTube now, so it's like
Yep.
we're gonna be on different mediums for you guys to check out the podcast. I'm working doubly overtime just to put this podcast everywhere so you can see it. You have people who just want to watch stuff. You know what I mean? Granted, the first episode didn't really have any footage because YouTube's policy and footage and all that crap. But this one, I think I'm gonna throw some in there. You know, just for kicks.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we can get started with today's topics. First of which is the big one. The Oscar nominations were announced last week. And did you get to see the live unveiling?
I didn't, but I also don't care about the live unveiling.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Well,
I'm very, for me, the whole Oscar season is just the day of the Oscars.
but what's funny though, why I kind of mentioned it, it was I think according, I'm not quite sure. Don't quote me on this, but they've never used the actual host to announce the nominees. So this was like a taste of what you'll get from Seth MacFarlane, and he was pretty funny.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
yeah, he and Emma Stone unveiled the nominees, and each time they kind of throw it a little bit of quips in between nominations just to kind of get the crowd, the small crowd that was there, um, get them laughing because I guess it was early in the morning for on West Coast standards. It was like
right.
really, well, late at night, early in the morning, depending on what do you look, what part do you look at it. But yeah, so they unveiled the Oscars. A lot of surprising snuffs. Uh, in my opinion, what do you think? You think any snuffs were there for you? Snubs,
Yeah,
sorry, snubs. I'm not snuff. Snubs.
yeah. There was no best director, no best director for Peter Berg on Battleship.
All right. And
That
I
was a
was,
joke. That
yeah,
one was a joke.
I was like really hoping to see him on the list, but
Yeah, I mean, that was like the biggest movie of the year.
yeah.
I mean, best adapted screenplay
hmm But
based on
yeah. But on a
Kane.
serious note, like Ben Affleck, like no Ben Affleck and no
Right, no Ben Affleck, but Argo did get nominated.
yeah, and no Quentin.
No Quentin, but then again, Quentin also got nominated for screenplay.
Yeah. So I think, and some people said it too. This is the first time in a long time where pretty much anybody can win in any category, except maybe for Best Actor. I think Daniel Day Lewis kind of has that in the bag. But as far as the other nominees, it could be anybody's game. Um, and there was a lot of talks that Skyfall would get nominated, but no Skyfall. Did you ever think that Skyfall could have possibly got nominated?
Nah, nah. I mean, it was good and it was excellent,
Right.
but
Yeah.
it's still a Bond movie,
Yeah.
so it's not gonna get the artistic.
And then once in a while,
It did get nominated for the lots of technical awards. I think it got 3 or 4 nominations.
um, and then once in a while, like not once in a while, all the time when the Oscars come around, you find like a movie getting a lot of buzz. You never hear about this movie until Oscar time, and I think Amor was one of them for me. I never heard about this movie until
Yeah,
the nominations. It's like, what? Where did this movie come from? Like, taking the spots of, movies that we would have hoped got nominated. But even the director for that got nominated, didn't he?
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Taking taking away a Ben Affleck spot or a Quentin Tarantino spot. God damn it! But that's the way of the business. I guess they're gonna push that movie. It's probably out now, right? I'm not even sure about that movie. I just don't know
Yeah,
about
I
it.
don't even know. I don't even know.
Yeah. So, yeah, and what else? Also getting a lot of nominations. Silver Linings Playbook. Um, you know, br-
Yeah, which I haven't seen.
yeah.
Uh, even though David O. Russell's a dick.
Oh my God! I thought I was the only one. I, I say that
Yeah.
all the
Well,
time.
you know the George Clooney story, right?
I know. I don't know the George Clooney story. I know the what's her name? The comedian, the I Heart Huckabees, the famous like spat between the two.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I know about that one. I didn't know about the George Clooney one. What happened with the George Clooney one?
While shooting Three Kings, he got he hit an extra
Right.
because he just wasn't getting the performance or something,
Mm-hmm.
or was just venting his frustration.
Right.
And George Clooney said, "If you hit the extra one more time, I'm going to beat the shit out of you." And he did, and he did.
Oh my God.
George Clooney beat the shit out of David O. Russell.
It's just amazing how when you hear these stories, like how do you manage they kind of push through to the end, the final product? Like, how is their work relationship after such a tirade of
Yes, they can be professional.
yeah, like especially the one because it was on YouTube. It's on YouTube. I saw it on YouTube. The one with can't what's her name? Lily
I
Tomlin.
remember I never
Lily
saw I Heart Huckabees
yeah
because I just
Lily
it,
Tomlin is her name.
it was Lily Tomlin.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um, like if you check it on YouTube, like they're at each other, man. Like he went around and smashed the entire set. Like it's not just one incident too. It was like that incident plus another incident where you had Dustin Hoffman and Lily Tomlin in the car, and he's doing the same thing. Like and she's like cursing him out. Like wow, you know, it's amazing that he and Kristen Bale didn't catch up in
yeah,
for the fighter. I guess two hotheads. I guess they know how to act around each other, so
yeah.
they're like cool about it. But yeah, he's known as a hothead. I thought it was like I said to a buddy of mine, like, yeah, he's an asshole. I don't know why he's getting that much love, but hey, James Cameron and Michael Bay get mad love, and I guess they're assholes on their sets. Except they just don't go around hitting extras.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah. So now we can talk about like what do you think? I guess predictions or Oscar predictions. Um, like best picture. Who do you think
John
has that
Carter.
one? Which one?
John Carter.
Oh yeah.
Still haven't seen John Carter. It's on TV now, but I haven't gotten around to watching it, and I kind of want to watch it because I don't know. I just feel like I should.
Well, you should. It was a good movie. It was a great movie. Well, no, not great. It was good.
Well,
Um,
for Best Picture, I haven't seen Argo, and I haven't seen Lincoln, and I haven't seen Zero Dark 30, but I'm gonna be seeing Zero Dark 30 like this week.
I saw that movie. It was pretty good. Um,
Like right now, the only two Best Picture nominees I've seen were Les Mis and Django.
I don't think Django is gonna win this one though.
It's close, it did, but
I think it's
I'm
going to.
gonna stay away from the controversial ones like Django and Zero Dark 30.
hmm And the fact that um, the director was like, I think a film that's gonna win this category, the director has to be in the nominations as well. So if you're going to go by that standard, I would say it's probably going to be a toss up with. Wait, let me see if the best director. Um, Actually, the director of Les Mis is not even nominated too. Tom,
Not often
yeah,
has a
yeah,
movie won Best Picture without the director winning
yeah.
Best Director.
But well, most of these films on the list, the directors aren't nominated, so it could be one of those first, oh, one of the few times.
Yeah, it's actually quite
Um,
un, unusual.
but then if you were to go by just the standard of that the director is nominated, it could be Lincoln, could be Zero Dark 30, or Silver Lining
So the
Playbook.
director's not nominated. Catherine Bigelow is not nominated for Zero Dark
Is
30.
she? Wait, wait, wait. Let me check. What?
She's not.
Oh my
I'm
god.
not lying.
What is going on with the Oscars?
They call it a snub or a snuff if you'd like.
Yeah. But yeah, that's crazy. So it's gonna be a crazy race, uh, come this February, and I would say the actress. I would give that to Jessica Chastain for Zero Dark 30. She did a
or
pretty
a
good
mum.
job. Oh, also to note, the youngest and oldest nominees in history of the Oscars with let me see if I can pronounce this. Kuven Zan or Vazen Zane, because there's an accent in the E, so it's Zane Wallace. She's 9,
Uh-huh.
and then Emmanuel Riva, she's 85. So we got the youngest and the oldest. Something to marvel at.
That's classy.
Um, but yeah, any other categories? Of interests?
Um, they've got the scores, but and I always like those.
Yeah, like score. I think. Mm,
And Skyfall's actually nominated for Best Score, which I thought was
yeah,
interesting because I thought the score was a little behind
yeah. I don't think.
other ones.
I don't think Thomas Newman is gonna win this one though. I don't think John Williams is gonna win this one. It would be too much of. I don't know why they won't give John Williams more Oscars. He deserves more Oscars than what he's gotten over the years. But it'll probably be Michael Dana for Life of Pi, even though I haven't seen that movie. It just screams that he'll get it for some reason. Skyfall might win for best song though. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd buy that.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So I guess that's pretty much it for the Oscars. Now on to some movie news. Did you hear about this one? Jurassic Park 4 being set
Of course, I heard about this one.
for
Ah,
June 30th, 13th,
yeah,
2014.
yeah, it's soon.
Ah,
I
so
mean, I hope they have a script already
are we
because they gotta get working on that.
are we ready for another Jurassic Park?
Yes, I've been dying for another Jurassic Park. Why have we not had awesome dinosaurs in theaters
Um,
in a long time?
of course, Spielberg is only producing. He's not directing. I think he had his fill with part 1 and 2. But who would you like seeing directing this thing? Because they don't have a director for this thing, do they?
George Lucas.
uh,
He could do it. He's not doing Star Wars.
hey, you find yet another franchise to ruin. No, I don't think he will ruin this one though. I have faith. I have faith. But if I, they're probably going with a journeyman. I think. I don't think they're going to go with anybody big. Um,
Hmm.
somebody like you might know his work, but he's not like the kind of director that you will see in the trailers, like a such and such film or whatever. You might see from the director off, but I don't think it'll be a household name. Um,
David O. Russell. He'll pick a fight with the T-Rex and get eaten.
hmm That'll be end of his uh, freaking destruction of the Hollywood sets. Like literally, he destroyed the set, his own set. You should. That shit was funny, man. You should see it. Check it
He's a
out.
child. He's a child.
Um, what else? Oh, and the talk was I think at one point that they were trying to sort of not reboot it, but like do something completely different. They even had like, but I think it was proved as a hoax. I'm not sure where they had concept art of how the dinosaurs would look like. They look almost part humanoid, part
Yeah,
reptilian.
that was from either like a that was from a very early script, which was never confirmed,
Right.
and the concept art is never confirmed either to have been actually real.
Hmm.
But yeah, that was terrible, and I'm glad they're not doing that.
So but what could make Jurassic Park 4 different though? Like, do they go back to a different island? Do they go in the city? Because then you would have another Godzilla situation. Like, how do you sort of make it fresh? You know, like could to me it could have just ended with two or maybe even three. But how do you see them kind of reinventing this whole thing, or even getting us to be excited for it? You know what I mean?
Well, they could do uh, combat, like aliens. Have a team of military folk arrive on the island.
Mm-hmm.
You know, kind of like the end of Jurassic Park 3, except nothing happened
Yeah.
after that.
All right.
You know, the
It's
end of Jurassic Park 3, the military comes and arrives on the island and saves everybody, but they don't actually fight anything.
it's funny you should mention that with military. Did you know that James Cameron was trying to get the rights to Jurassic Park before Spielberg did?
Yep,
And his version, he said he's glad how he did it. He pretty much made it like a kids
it
movie.
would have been aliens and like
Yeah.
R-rated and violent and scary.
What do you think? You think what would you have liked his version, or you preferred how what Spielberg did with it?
I probably would have, but not when I was a kid.
Right. But yeah, like, do you think now is the time? Now is the time to try that? Maybe not as hard
Yeah,
R.
it still shouldn't be rated R because you know Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
You know, even though it's scary and terrifying and full of people getting eaten by dinosaurs,
Hmm.
they're still children's movies.
Yeah. But
You know,
like,
like Indiana Jones. You know, yeah, a guy gets his heart ripped out and a guy's face melts, but it's still a kids movie.
yeah. um, somebody brought up, speaking of Indiana Jones, somebody brought up how Indiana Jones, the fourth one, is the tamest out of all of them. Like, Indiana Jones kills people in the first three, except this one.
Well, he does kill folks, just
Like,
not with guns.
yeah,
Just never called for him to draw his
or
gun.
they're like indirectly kills them. Like, a guy gets hit into a ant pit and gets gobbled up by the ants.
Yeah,
But yeah, so
I'm not sure how much of that was on purpose or really just coincidence.
yeah,
You know.
like, so they were saying, oh, George Lucas and Spielberg kind of got old now. They have kids and grandkids. They kind of got a little bit more tame, and it's like in their older age, it's like, you know what? We're not that young maverick we used to be back in those days. Those whippersnappers in
Yeah.
the 60s and 70s. But yeah, so that's Jurassic Park 4. Hopefully, we hope for the best. Hopefully, you won't disappoint. All right, so this one I'm actually excited for. I always do this thing where there's a filmmaker that I like, but he's particular for doing certain films, and I often wonder like what it would be like for that director to take on, a different genre. Like, for instance, what would a medieval fantasy story look like from Michael Bay, right?
It would look exactly like Transformers and really bland and boring, and I'd hate it.
Or what would Step Up look like for Joss Whedon? Anyway,
It would be excellent, except for no, it would be excellent.
yeah, but Christopher Nolan, of course, his films are, if even if it's genre films, it's kind of grounded. Like, he likes that whole practical effects in his films. But he's going to do a time travel sci-fi picture called Interstellar, um, which, ironically enough, I think Spielberg wanted to do that, but left the project.
Something like that.
Yeah,
He's kind of done with action movies, basically. He says that I could do that in my sleep.
yeah. So Christopher Nolan has taken it up, but he's rewinding it with his brother to incorporate more of his own, ideas, um, in it. But, it's by the sound of it, it's going to be another wild and trippy film from Christopher Nolan, and he's one director that his original works, when he's not adapting, with Batman and Insomnia, his original works. Well, his brother and his original works are pretty solid, pieces, and this is something. And not only are they original and new in terms of like plot, but like they're big budget, movies that a lot of people come out in droves for, and it's one of those. Actually, before I get to that, I have a theory on why it works, but before I get to that, this is something that that Christopher Nolan is taking on in terms of um, sci-fi film. So before I get to my theory and why his original film works, what do you think about this whole Interstellar? Uh,
Well, I don't really know much about it, but I was a big fan of Inception,
mhm.
and if we kind of tackle, time travel action dramas with that same kind of hand,
Right.
masterful hand, I'm a fan, so
Yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah. Um. So I guess I can tell you about my theory on especially Inception, because you can excuse Prestige, like it was a hit, but it wasn't a massive hit. It was good enough. It had Hugh Jackman in it, and he was coming off Wolverine, so that
And
brought
David
people in.
Bowie.
Yeah. What? Who?
David Bowie
And
was Nikola Tesla in The Prestige,
oh, right, right, right. That's right.
and
Um,
they were got wrong because it was David Bowie.
but yeah, it had Kristen Bale and Hugh Jackman as the stars to kind of bring people in droves, but not it wasn't like a big hit. It wasn't until like The Dark Knight where he starts getting up in there with the billions and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So why did Inception, a really complex film, why did that work in terms of
car chases,
coming in?
car chases.
Maybe,
Joey
but
Gordy Levitt.
here's my theory though. The way how it was marketed, right? The post. Let's start with the poster. If you look at the poster for that film and the poster for Dark Knight Rises, like people may not have notice it, but it's like there's something like unconsciously about it that brings your eyes to that poster, right? And it's like the Dark Knight poster, how it was with especially you had Batman like really big on the poster, and then you have Leonardo DiCaprio's character really big on the poster, and then you had like um, cities in the background and stuff like that. So people already are so kind of connecting it to the Dark Knight Rises, and then you kind of throw in the whole Dark Knight from the director of Dark Knight on the TV spots all over the place, and then the trailer, then that one shot, the money shot for the trailer, right? Because everything else is like, okay, what's going on, what's going on, what's going on, and then you see the money shot with the trailer with the city folding onto itself. That was like, you know, something epic looking. Like people don't know what the hell is going on, but they want to see what that folding city is about. So I think that's what and then word of mouth apparently it carries it after the first opening weekend. But I think that's the marketing and the visuals played a key part in why that film was successful, given how complex it was. Well, that's my theory.
Yeah, it's a. Oh, excuse me. The audience will pay to see something that is otherwise impossible that you can't see anywhere else.
Yeah.
In a shot like that, it looks so realistic. You know, something impossible in a very realistic setting.
Hmm.
As opposed to where everything looks like it's computer generated. Where everything looks like a cartoon, then you get disconnected. But when everything looks real, and then you see something unbelievable, you're like, oh God, I have to go see that.
Right. Right. Yeah. So hopefully well, I think Christopher Nolan is a household name enough now to sell this movie,
Yeah,
Interstellar, without having to resort to you know trickery of the mind with the marketing. Um, you just say from the director of the Dark Knight trilogy, right?
yeah. Well,
But
but they still got to present the movie as interesting.
yeah, yeah.
which if they do the same thing that they did with Inception, it shouldn't be so hard.
You know, what is going to be difficult now is you like other than Christopher Nolan, the other person you associate with those films is Wally Pfister, right? The cinematographer. Now
Uh huh.
he's quit the you know DP business. Now he's going to be a director. His first film is Translucent or something like that with Johnny Depp, I think. But he's gonna have to hire a new DP. Is his film gonna look the same? Meaning, is that a Christopher Nolan look, or was that a Wally Pfister look with the cinematography? Because say what you will about Christopher Nolan, like you have his haters out there, but his films does look beautiful. Like the shots. Like I watched Insomnia the other day, and it was shot in Alaska, and oh my god, like some of those shots were incredible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, is he? Is his film gonna look different now that he's gonna take on a new DP, or is he gonna say like do what Wally Pfister did to his next DP? That's that's something that can't wait to see for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, he probably has his style, and either Wally's at odds with that or is in favor of it. And I guess we'll find out
Right.
when we see what this movie looks like.
Yep. So last movie story. It's actually a nice surprise. A Good Day to Die Hard will be rated R.
Oh my god! That's the big news for me.
So did the fact that the fourth one was PG-13, did that affect your enjoyment of that film at all, or?
When I first saw it,
Mm-hmm.
not really. A little bit. I was like, oh, okay. I can tell that they were obviously supposed to have said fuck there.
Right.
But, I didn't mind because the stunts were so incredible
Mm-hmm.
that, I mean, if ever there's a movie that could be sold entirely on its stunt work, it's that one.
Right.
But then once you see the unrated cut on home video,
Mm-hmm.
you just completely, forget about the PG-13 version. This is absolutely better in every way.
Right.
Have you seen the unrated cut of Die
I
Hard 4?
I haven't actually.
It is excellent.
I'll definitely get around to it. I'm going to do my own Die Hard marathon before the movie comes out.
Yeah, in fact, they've got a Die Hard marathon coming to select theaters
Yep.
on the 13th.
Yeah. I see.
And if they are showing the unrated cut of Die Hard 4,
Mm-hmm.
Live Free or Die Hard,
Or 4.0.
then I will be going.
Is there a way to find that out before? Because it's like sometimes they're really cryptic about these things.
Well, they said that they'll be releasing additional details soon.
Yeah.
So when they do, they'll probably let us know.
Right.
And
But
at the very least, they have to show the rating. So if it says PG-13, then that means
yeah, yeah.
shit.
So my question is, what do you think spurred this decision, especially with this whole thing about, wanting to maximize your profit and Hollywood's whole take on PG-13 versus R? Like, what do you think?
Well, I think that Hollywood will want to get as many asses in seats as they can, and I think that the response was so positive. Even if some people hated both versions of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
they still say that the unrated cut was better
Right.
of Die Hard 4, and so I think they realized that if they put out a PG-13 version,
Mm-hmm.
most of the real Die Hard fans, so to speak, will wait. They'll ignore the movie and then wait until an unrated cut comes out on home video.
Right. Right.
And Fox would rather, well, they'd rather people get it both times. So there'll probably still be an even more unrated cut,
Mm-hmm.
or something.
I was speaking about this last year. I wrote it up in an article, and how it looks like Hollywood is going back to how they were in the from I guess the 70s to the 90s, mid 90s, where they did these big budget R-rated films. I think for a long while, Terminator 3 was the last big budget R-rated film. uh,
Yeah.
for the aughts, right? And then they announced a couple of high profile films coming out. Obviously, some of them failed, like Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter, but that was rated R. Um,
But it was also not a $150 million movie.
right, and then you have Hansel and Gretel Vampire Witch Hunters. Sorry, Witch Hunters. Rated R. They were actually contemplating doing a PG-13 version and R-rated version. They screened the R-rated version, and well, they screened both, and then the R-rated version got the most applause. So they said, "Screw it, we'll do the R-rated version." And then you have this movie coming out, Good Day to Die Hard. That's rated R. So I'm like thinking, is this a return of the blockbuster R-rated films? Like, you know,
Well, I guess we'll see if they make a lot of money.
because
I mean, The Last Stand will be rated R. We'll see if that can open at number one. I mean, they're not expecting a lot from
yeah,
it
right.
because it's a January release.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're probably not expecting a lot for Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah.
But if R-rated Die Hard 5 can make a as much bank as Live Free did,
Mm-hmm.
or at least close enough, because again, February is different than I think July.
Do you
Yeah, it
th-
came out in July.
Do you think they shot it for a lower budget than from the fourth one? That why they decided, hey, we can go R because we
Oh,
don't.
looking at the trailer, I don't think so.
Yeah, because
There's a lot of broken glass in that trailer.
and
I
each
mean,
of
the
those,
glass budget must be phenomenal.
each of those shards, they cost a pretty penny.
Yeah,
So
and lots of that 3D camera stuff. A lot of that, those impossible camera angles.
yeah,
Like they jump out of a window and the camera follows them out the window. It's pretty cool.
yeah. So
I hope it doesn't contrast too hard with the style of the previous films.
mm-hmm.
Like, I hope it still feels like a Die Hard movie.
Yeah, I think maybe it's the brand of the film why they decided to take a risk. I guess. So.
Yeah, and like, I got the impression just when I think about Die Hard 4
Mm-hmm.
that Bruce Willis was there acting as producer to keep the movie from sucking.
Yeah.
Like you got the impression like the studio was like, "Hey, what if John McClane doesn't shoot this guy but just says like funny one-liners with Justin Long?" And then Bruce Willis just says, "Hey, how about you shut the fuck up?"
Yeah, it's
Like
like
I think the compromise was that they're like, "All right, we'll let you make an awesome movie, but we also have to have this fight scene with a jet."
yeah. So I think you have actors out there that have characters that are close to their vest. I think like especially you have Harrison Ford. He appreciates Indiana Jones more than Han Solo. He's like, okay, uh,
Because you got to be the lead in Indy.
yeah. Um, Even though I think a lot of people think Han Solo is a lot more cooler. Like, what do you think? Than Indy?
Well, Han Solo is part of an ensemble,
Yeah.
so it's he's got his place. Whereas when it's Indiana Jones, I can see how one would enjoy playing Indy more, just because you get to be the center of attention.
Yeah. So, yeah, they're taking the risk of making this rated R. I think it'll pay off, though. I think
I
people will
hope
see it.
so. I mean, I'm excited for it.
Yeah. Sticking with the R-rated issue, the movie that I'm really not that I'm looking forward to seeing it is more of a curiosity factor just to see how well it would do because it's kind of like bringing that same phenomena that Twilight brought and the Hunger Games is bringing and all those films, but it's more for the housewives that want to watch porn but don't want to watch porn. You know, I'm going with this.
50 Shades of Zach. I mean, great.
So obviously that movie can't be anything than less than rated R. Even though there was talks about it being NC-17, which I don't think it'll ever pass. Because NC-17 is just gonna limit your audience to such a degree that it's just not gonna happen. But
Yeah,
rated R, you can have your 16-year-olds if their parents admit them or whatever.
that
But
would be so weird.
I know
Teenage daughter and her mom going to go see 50 Shades of Grey.
it'll happen though. I swear it'll happen. Watch.
Ah, yeah, maybe in Malibu.
But that movie actually
Malibu Slam.
come again.
I said maybe in Malibu
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
that would happen,
yeah.
and then felt the urge to say Malibu Slam very loudly.
Oh, right. So, back in the days, we used to have movies like Fatal Attraction, Disclosure, Body Heat, all those femme fatale movies, with lots of sex and, you know, Basic Instinct. We haven't had a movie like that in the theaters in a long time. Granted, this isn't really a thriller, but it's along the lines of like a sex erotic movie in the theater. So this could possibly be a comeback, do you think, of those kind
I
of
don't
films?
because the book is so terrible and poorly written, and the messages are
So
so
was
either
Twilight.
non-existent or overwhelmingly negative
so
that it would not work.
so was Twilight. Twilight was a terrible book, but the
But
movies made
at least it had like the juvenile fantasy stuff,
right,
so that it didn't matter, you know.
right,
But
right.
even Twilight is not as negative against women as 50 Shades is.
But somehow they're the ones who are buying these books. You know what I mean? Just having it. I actually the other day I was in the Metro North, and I saw a poster. It was actually for a Christmas poster. It's like get the gift that is both naughty and nice.
Ah, 50 Shades on Kindle.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's this. I don't know if it. Like how a lot of people are trying to copy the formula, the Harry Potter formula, the Twilight formula, with beautiful creatures coming out now and Ender's Game coming out. These franchise starters. If Because you have a lot of books out there that are erotic books. So if 50 Shades can sell and the movie can sell, I don't know. You don't think Hollywood might try to bring that part of their
Maybe, but I can't help but feel that a lot of the success of 50 Shades of Grey is people being like, "Oh, I'm intrigued. Let me read this. Oh, it's terrible, but I can't stop reading it because it's so bad. I would never want to watch anything related to this." It's like, watching a train wreck in slow motion.
yeah, yeah.
But I do think that there is a market for that
Hmm.
kind of movie just as soon as a much better erotic novel comes along.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like in the wake of 50 Shades of Grey, they've got a bunch of erotic novels coming out, and I'm sure many people are writing erotic novels based on their lives.
Hmm. Oh,
Like,
I
and I'm sure at least one of them is going to come out, and it's going to be amazing, and it's going to be excellent, and it's going to get optioned, and that's going to be
I just
the
for some
great.
reason though, I just have a feeling that if a well written erotic novel was presented, that it wouldn't sell as well because people would feel like it's a little bit too real and erotic and uncomfortable. While I guess 50 Shades played more like guilty pleasure,
Well, it
so to
depends
speak.
on who it's about. I
Uh-huh.
mean, 50 Shades is weird because housewives read it, but it's about like a 20-something-year-old girl.
Right.
Like, what if they wrote one from the perspective of, she's like in her 40s and she meets like, the pool boy.
Yeah. And then that's when you lose the younger crowd who wants to see some young
Yeah, they get the hot
breastises.
guys. Yeah, well, screw the young crowd. You know, we got to say screw the young crowd more often.
Yeah, I guess. You're part of that young crowd, Zach. You 22 young whippersnapper, you.
Yeah, but I love my housewives as much as the next guy. Actually, I love them way more than the next guy.
Yeah, I do too. Don't get me wrong. I
Wow.
always loved older women when I was really young. When I was like teenager, when
Yeah,
I.
stretch marks. I mean, what? No, what? Never mind.
All right, so I guess that brings us to the end of the movie talk. Now we can talk a little bit about TV, not much, but a little bit.
Yeah, that got disturbing.
All right, so first thing, Shield it's been confirmed that the Shield series takes place after the Avengers, which
So I've decided that it's Phil Coulson via hologram or video will.
I don't think so. The only reason I don't think so is that they're really trying to sell this film, no, this series to an audience who not only us fans, but to the general public. And you don't want to bring in holograms like your first episode. Like, what is this shit? Click and change the channel, right?
Or his narrator from Beyond the Grave. He
Yeah,
did.
yeah. I think you just gotta face the fact, Zach, that he didn't die.
He's super dead. He's super dead.
He didn't die. He's alive and well and kicking and screaming and kicking ass. He's back. I thought you should be happy. Aren't you like the
I mean, I
biggest?
am because I love him so much. Because he's the man. He's the greatest person in the history of people.
Uh huh.
But I can't help but feel
You feel
like
robbed, I guess. You feel robbed about that scene. Like that was such an
kind of,
emotional
it was
scene.
emotional. It was the emotional crutch of the whole movie.
Yeah. I mean, but it can still work. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't really take away from what that scene means because it did what it was supposed to do, right? It was supposed to get these group of superhero thugs in line and say, you know what, we really need to stop Loki before he starts some shit. And that's what it did. You know what I mean? If he's alive, so what? They did what they were supposed to do.
I don't know. We'll
And
see. We'll see. We'll see. We don't know yet.
I
You know, you might think you know, but you don't know. You don't know. We'll see.
I especially feel happy about because every time like I see his death, I kept being reminded when I went to Comic Con, New York Comic Con, right? You had these girls in front. No, was it New York Comic Con or was it San Diego? One of them, anyway. You had these girls in front who had uh, Coulson T-shirts, right? They were like Coulson fans. Like you could see the beginnings of the Coulson movement right there, where they were like Coulson all the way. Like we don't care about anybody else but Coulson. And I kept thinking about like imagine how those girls reacted when Coulson died in that movie. Like I would have loved to see that
They
moment.
they probably did not take it well.
It's like the screaming, like no, because they were screaming in my theater the first time I saw it, and Coulson died. They were actually screaming in that movie.
Ah,
So yeah, I'm sure they're super happy and excited that Coulson's back. Uh, I know I am. I think you should too be, Zach.
I mean, he'll be back in one way or the other,
Yeah.
but I don't think that he's alive.
But
He died pretty hard.
you
He
know,
got stabbed.
other than that, talks. Joss Whedon has been making the rounds and talking about the show more and more, giving us a lot of hope that this isn't just a pilot and they probably won't pick it up. I think it's just they're definitely gonna pick this up. I think even if the pilot sucks, is like this property is so big that they'll work around what doesn't work to try to fix it, because it won't be a budget issue. Because I think that was the issue that faced Wonder Woman, in that they weren't able to do it properly because of budgetary reasons, so they had to come up with this really weird idea of her being this. By the way, did you see the pilot for that?
Nah,
Yeah.
I
Uh,
was
it was online. You were able to see it online. But yeah, it's this weird thing where she's a CEO of a company and she has like three different identities. She's the Wonder Woman. Two, she's the CEO of the company who they know is Wonder Woman, but then she has a third identity that is like a lower level worker of the company, but nobody knows that she's either the head of the company or Wonder Woman. So it's like this weird thing going on. I don't know, but the Shield show could work because it's just taking place from the point of view of these cops, and there's been a lot of cop shows to know that something like that could work. And they're not going to go to sci-fi all the time. They're going to have some sci-fi elements here and there. Sometimes it's going to be like Alias, the show, which like a terrorist or something, and sometimes it's gonna be supernatural, but not all the time. But it's Joss Whedon; it'll work. So yeah. So the next thing, anything else you wanted to see about it?
No, just that I'm patiently waiting.
Yeah.
You know, I'm less excited just because I don't know much about it yet. You know,
Right.
nobody knows much about it. Just the comic book people are excited for it.
Yeah. But not
So
even.
I'm excited, but I'm just patiently waiting.
Yeah. The funny thing is though, even though the comic book people are excited just for the fact that it is a Shield show, but pretty much all the characters in the show are completely brand new. You know what I mean? Including Coulson, who was created for the movie and then imported into the show. But everything is pretty much new. You know what I mean? Like, so we are as much in the dark as you know, the layman out there. But yeah, still excited. We're just, curious to see how something like that will work with this show and the movies coming out and all that stuff. All right, so we can talk a little bit about the Golden Globes. Did you watch it? I know you're not really a fan of the Golden Globes, but did you watch it?
Um, I did not. I just what day was that? That was Sunday, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I was just busy. You
yeah.
know.
I almost missed it too. I missed like the first 45 minutes of it because completely forgot that it was coming on. But what I've seen so far of it, the rest of it, Amy Poehler and Tina Fey did a good job. They were pretty
Yeah, I
funny.
bet.
They weren't like Ricky Gervais, how he was just really insulting, but trying to be funny. Um, these guys were in some ways insulting a little bit, but not as strong, so you could at least laugh at it. Like I think the most insulting thing they said was Taylor Swift stay away from Michael J. Fox's son. Um, you need to be by yourself and get to know yourself a little bit. I think that was like the strongest, harshest thing they've said, which I totally agree with. So I was kind of like clapping. But other than that, they were pretty.
Terrible. It's
Other,
awful.
I mean, she does. They made a joke, right? No, not them, but like a radio talk show host made a joke, and it was like it's funny how real that is, right? You see Miley Cyrus, and you see the way she dresses on when she's performing and what she does in public. You're like, oh my god, that girl is such a slut, right? But she's had the same boyfriend for 3 years now, and they
Yep.
look at Taylor Swift. She's been with I think they were joking on this number, but I think exaggerating. They said, "Oh, she's been with 13 guys in the past 3 years," but she's been with multiple guys in the past 3 years. Let's be real with that. Including John Mayer, who's been like a very public slut himself, man whore, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, there is just how she carries herself that you really see her as the good girl, and then you look at Miley Cyrus is like, oh, she's the bad girl gone. She's the she's the daughter of like the country star gone bad or something like that. But she's been with the same guy. But anyway, I guess I went on a tangent on that. But let's get back to the Golden Globes. Did you check out the winners of the?
I saw a couple of them. I was very impressed at one of the winners. I think it was it was a television actress. Who won for television actress?
Claire Danes. For wait, comedy or drama?
Maybe comedy.
I think it was Lena Dunham.
Then it
She
wasn't them. And it was a supporting.
so it
Supporting.
could be supporting.
Yeah, supporting. Who won supporting?
Uh, Supporting actor. Let me look. God damn it, this doesn't have the full list. But I don't know. I guess you can look that up while we talk about the other stuff. But I remember we did like the predictions, some predictions as much as we could predict what would happen, and I figured Homeland would take a lot of awards, which it did. It took best TV drama. Um, it also took best actor and actress. So I'm a big supporter of that show. You really should check that show out, Zach. Really should.
Yeah.
You really should watch it. Especially with 2 seasons in a can now. Netflix that bastard. Um, but what else? Then of course you had um, Ben Affleck getting his due, winning his award for best director, um, and Argo winning for best drama, and then Les Mis winning for best musical or comedy, and Daniel Day Lewis winning for Lincoln, and Jessica Chastain winning for Zero Dark 30, which is it's a great because you see her growth from the beginning of the film to the end of the film. You see like that growth, and she did a pretty good job. I haven't seen her in too many films. I haven't seen The Help yet. Forgot what other movie did she show up in? I don't even know.
Mama.
Well, I haven't seen that yet.
I know, and I'm not going to.
Yeah, I'll wait for it to come out on DVD or something. I know that my man Jamie Lannister is in that.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Uh, Game of Thrones. God damn it! Keep up.
I don't watch that either.
What
My
is
parents watch that.
wrong with you?
I
Oh,
watched Enlightened,
did
which started the other day, and I'm going to check it out soon
did you
because, oh my god, that's my favorite show.
did you see last night? Was it last night? Last night's what's that show called? Cougar Town. Because speaking of Game of Thrones.
I haven't seen it yet,
Oh,
but I have it,
because you're
and
saying
I'm going to
your
check it out.
parents watched it, so it's like there was a whole scene with Game of Thrones and boobies and all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
I do notice a lot because you mentioned how like moving to TBS to get a little bit more raunchier. They haven't gotten like OD raunchy. Like they haven't said shit yet. I don't think
Yeah,
you can say shit.
they can get away with a little more, but
Yeah,
they said that the intention was for no one to really notice the difference.
yeah. But it's subtle the changes. There's a little bit of the humor is a little bit more, like a little bit
Uh-huh.
stingier. Like I'm not gonna spoil it, but there's a mention of incest somewhere in last night's episode.
Well, it's got to be Jules and the Travis, right?
Yeah.
How she wants to marry him. She wants to marry her son.
But yeah, it's a joke I don't see would have passed on ABC, but I guess it can work for TBS.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Golden Globes, was a solid show. You know, I guess not too many surprises. Wasn't really betting on anything other than Homeland, which won.
Uh huh.
So, and of course you didn't watch it, so you were like, yeah, pfft, right?
Yeah. Like, who cares? Just the Golden Globes.
um,
Not an Oscar.
but are you gonna watch the Oscars?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always watch the Oscars.
So and I gotta see what Seth MacFarlane does. Like if the nomination reveal was any indication, he's gonna be pretty funny.
And they'll probably get a lot of viewers
Yeah,
this time too, because he's kind of on top right now.
yeah, with Ted
Family
and
Guy ratings are up. Presumably because of Ted,
hmm
and that's all him. That's his name. His name is famous.
even though I just like, granted, I don't remember most of the episodes in like the first couple of seasons of Family Guy, but everybody's like, okay, those seasons are way better than how it is now. To me, like each episode is pretty much funny. I can't help. It's like I don't see a dip to me. You know what I mean?
In Family Guy,
Yeah.
oh, there's definitely a dip, but this year has been back on top.
Right. I don't know. It's
There's definitely been a dip, but this year is good.
like, okay, I don't remember.
Last year the impression was that all the good jokes got saved for Ted.
Oh, oh,
The same thing that happened to the South Park movie. South Park season 2 sucks because all the good jokes were put in the movie.
oh. Right, right, right. Now, now the I don't know if you remember this part, this one little gag in Family Guy. I don't know if that's in the funnier seasons or if this was in the later season. But I thought if it's in the later seasons, I thought that was funny. So you had Quagmire driving and talking on the phone with Peter, right? And they're like, asking how their day is and whatever. And then Quagmire is actually driving behind Peter, and he doesn't know he's driving behind Peter. He's like, oh, this asshole won't move out of the way, so he's beeping Peter, not knowing it's Peter. And then Peter's like, screw this asshole. This asshole is behind me and whatever. So it's like they're like cursing each other out, but not cursing each other out because they're having a normal conversation on the phone until they come out and it's like, oh, say I'll talk to you later. I'm just gonna beat this guy up. So all right, then they got off the phone and they came out and started beating the shit out of each other. I
Yeah, I
don't.
remember that one. I don't remember when it was from though,
Yeah,
but I remember that one.
that
Good
was
stuff.
pretty funny. So I don't know if that's from the earlier seasons or later seasons, but I think that was pretty funny. So yeah, um, I guess that's it for the Golden Globes. Oh, Jennifer Lawrence, she won for she's really steaming up her career, right? As a one of those young actresses that come out, starring in these popular movies, but at the same time, she's getting a lot of awards. Like, she got a nomination for, what was that movie that she was in?
Winter's Bone.
Yes, right. She got nominated for that one, and then she got nominated for Silver Linings Playbook. So J Law, man, as she was called by Tina Fey in the Golden Globes, J Law. Was it Tina Fey? No, it was what's his name? Was it Will Ferrell? I don't know. Somebody called her J Law. I don't know if that name will stick though.
Cute.
So yeah, so I guess that brings us to the end of the show. You don't have anything else to say about the Golden Globes, do you?
Nah.
All right, so let's ring off all the places you can find this show. Okay, are you guys paying attention? Are you guys? Because I'm doing this for you. Okay, like I'm hard at work with putting content out for you guys. So you can find us on YouTube, right? So subscribe to that channel if you're watching this on YouTube. Leave a comment down there. Give us a thumbs up or thumbs down, whichever one you like. But I prefer a thumbs up. So that's YouTube. iTunes. Get over there. Leave a comment. Give a star rating. You know, give some feedback. Stitcher Radio. We're on that Stitcher Radio. And where else? And then I guess you can just if you really wanted to, give us some feedback or email or whatever, get us at galaxyviewpodcast at gmail.com. And of course, you can get us on Twitter at Marquis Tundra. And where can they find you?
At my name, Zak Wojnar.
And of course, you can hit a like button on that Pop Culture Galaxy Facebook page, facebook.com/Pop Culture Galaxy, and then hit that like button. So we are all over the internet. We're planning to take over slowly but surely. We're getting there. And, head over to popculturegalaxy.com for some sweet content.
Yeah.
All right. So, I guess that's it. And until next time, I want to say peace.
Indeed.